The waves are calling, the stars align. Raise the colors high tonight. The sea is ours to claim. From the depths where Poseidon reigns, through thunder, wind, and driving rain, a queen ascends from myth and tide, with destiny upon her side. Horizons, sirens sing, ancient legends awakening. Across the seas her banner flies, beneath the ever-watchful skies. Hear the oceans roar her name, hear the storm winds fan the flame. Every harbor, every shore knows the queen forevermore. All hail the pirate queen, La Cole, ruler of the restless soul. Through the darkness, through the foam, every sea becomes her home. All hail the pirate queen, La Cole, fearless heart and heart of gold. Guided by the gods above, bound by courage, forged by love. Past the cliffs of marble kings, past where ancient eagle wings circle over treasure lost. She sails onward, counting no cost. The trident rises from the sea, a blessing for her destiny. The stars of Olympus brightly glow, lighting every path she'll know.
Raise the sails, raise them higher, feed the storm and feed the fire. Raise the sails, hear the call.
The pirate queen will conquer all.
All hail the pirate queen, La Cole,
Master of the tides that roll. Every legend yet untold lives within her heart so bold.
all hail the
Pirate queen, La Cole, queen of silver, sea, and gold. From Olympus to the deep, their eternal watch she'll keep. The sea remembers, the gods approve. The pirate queen, La Cole, sails on.
Alright, everybody, let me just get the game pulled up here. Should have did that in the first place, I know, but I'm lazy. Last time we actually reached a ending. Which I don't know if it would be a good ending or just an ending in general because Iggy was finally made his wish. Which was to never have existed, which ultimately made all the bad things that had happened through the years become non-existent as well. And once the game started over, some things were missing. And we started back over to where Hunar had called Iggy, said, Buxley had took off with the baby, and beforehand, when I had options to call 3 people after hanging up from him, uh, I now only have 1 because the other options were Gidget, Genzo, and Orlum. Now my only option is Genzo. And that is where we left off. So that's where we're going to pick up. And I got to do a few more things here before we actually get started. That's the wrong one. Give me maybe here we go. I hate trying to find this over here every time. Maybe. I swear, I find it one time and it moves on me the next. Here it is. Okay, I think that was everybody. Oh, wait. Wrong one. One more. 2 more. I might figure it out. Right, I can't do that. I can't go here, though. Maybe. If there's one here. There we go. Let's try that again. Hi, AJ. Hi, Fluffy. Welcome in. Okay. Make sure I'm still censored here. I am. Load. Keep waking up. Okay, next time, or last time, Iggy finally made his wish, which was to never have existed. When he did that, all the bad things that had happened, I'm assuming, got erased. So, with that being said, I'm kind of hoping Genzo isn't blind now. And it kind of ended up restarting where it picked up from where Hooner had called him about Buxley taking off with the baby. So beforehand, I had 3 options. I know I only have 1. So let's find out what calling Genzo is going to do. I scrolled down to Genzo's name on the list. He seems like the safest bet, I guess. I'm still not sure why I need to call him, or anyone, to be honest. If I'm going to go out of my way to force myself into social interaction, it might as well be with someone who doesn't care how awkward I am. I press the call button. The phone rings. Rings again. When it rings the 3rd time, I was just about to give up until the ring cuts off mid-blip, and somewhat out of breath, Genzo belts loudly through the receiver. Iggy! I winced and pulled the phone away from my ear. God damn, Eggs, is there blood raining from the sky? Are the mountains trembling? The moon must have fell. The moon must be about to fall if you're calling me. Very funny. I roll my eyes. So, what's up? What do you need? Your bestest best pal in the universe for on this fine morn. Did you... Only suddenly I hear a rustling on the phone, followed by Genzo's muffled voice shouting at someone. I said in the back room. You think I can't hear you over there? And closer back to the receiver. Jesus. Everything alright over there? I asked with a chuckle. Nah. Bit of a madhouse if you couldn't tell. New batch of parts coming in. Got an order I'm getting ready for pickup this afternoon. Already had 2 drops off this morning. Dang. I won't keep you then. It wasn't anything important. Just a random urge to call, I guess. Not important. Your friend's husband just called you and said she's missing with the baby. Not important? Hello? Jesus, Eggs. Don't hype yourself up too much there. People will start asking you to run for president. Another rustle. He seems to have moved the phone to his opposite ear. Hi, Odyssey. Welcome in. Before I forget again, I seem to be doing that lately. Since AJ was in here first. Pretty good. Last night we reached an ending, and we're kind of recapping, well, not recapping, but going through things again. I do have the VOD up, and I do plan on posting on YouTube, if you would like to watch that. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, too. I'll wait a few minutes before doing another shout-out. Another rustle. He seems to have moved his ear to his moved the phone to his opposite ear. Tell you what, you come down to the shop, we'll have a proper convo, beers and everything, as soon as I'm done with this order. But I stopped myself. Swallow the usual excuse I give whenever anyone asks me to do anything. I close my eyes for a moment, then take a breath. You know what? Sure. I'll be over in a bit. Hot diggity damn. I hear over the receiver before what sounds like the phone falling to the ground with a string of curse words. I think Genzo got flustered. Arc 2. Yep, here we go, Arc 2. So let's go ahead and change the name of the stream here. Part 4, Arc 2. Might help if I know how to spell. Glad everyone's doing well today. I started to say this morning, but it's afternoon. Let's see here. Shout out at Fluffy. Genzo shop is over the downtown area. A good 15 minutes walk from Brookside. No problem. Then again, most places are a good 15 minutes walk from Brookside. Either that or I just have a really bad sense of time. The little bell above the door rings and I step inside, where I'm quickly met with the scent of grease and metal and what smells faintly like damp wood chips. Genzo's head pops up from behind the far counter so fast he hits his skull on the overhead shelves. God, fuck it. He grimaces and pushes himself to his feet, one hand on the back of his head. That was graceful, I say with a laugh. Oh, eggs. His normal smile returns. That was quicker than expected. Okay, he's got the sunglasses on, but that might not mean anything. One hand up to trace the side of the counter, he tools around with the front, then immediately shoots his arms out. Put her here! Guess I figured I should come over before I talked myself out of it. I lean forward into his shoulder and he brings his arms around my middle in a hug that crushes me against his belly. Hey, acceptance is the first step toward recovery. Am I right or am I right? He laughs and gives me a final squeeze. When I pull back some of the grease smudges from his cheeks and neck, relocate them onto my clothes. I glance around, checking out the displays of newly repaired bikes, waiting for their new homes, like dogs in an animal shelter. A lot of work today then, huh? Tell me about it. I was just about to double check the new invoices on the old number cruncher. Come on. He gestures and heads towards the entryway to the back of the shop, hands searching out key landmarks along the way. Okay, so he's blind still. The smell is even stronger in the back. A half-finished bicycle lies in the middle of the floor, and past it I see a large tool bench, everything neat and tidy and perfectly in its place. There's a pile of boxes in the corner, one of them already open and the gleam of dirty silver peeking out. Genzo turns away from the shop proper and into a small office complete with a desk, computer, printer, and slowly twirling overhead fan. There's something about the colors that makes it look something straight out of the 70s, and the floor-to-ceiling wood paneling on the walls doesn't help. I can't help but wonder if this place was like this when Genzo bought it. Genzo slumps down in the orange leather computer chair and spins toward the monitor. Damn order was supposed to come yesterday. But what can you do? Service these days. He hits a key on the keyboard and the speakers crackle to life. Start window. Search. Search box. Edit. Type here to search. A couple more keys flicks and a spreadsheet opens up on the screen with 2 columns of numbers. He begins tabbing through them, listening to the name of each one followed by the amounts and prices. I take this opportunity to glance around silently. There isn't much on the desk or on the walls. At the end of the phone charger sticks up through the round hole in the turned up wood veneer. A couple of empty granola bar wrappers sit beneath the monitor. A black bordered clock on the wall tick 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 ticks away. What's more surprising, to the extent that I pull a double take upon seeing it, is the small lumpy figure slouch over past the keyboard. It's been hacked together from green and blue swatches of fabric and filled with beans, leaving it a humorously oblong shape, and its eyes have been fashioned from 2 black buttons. Checkers. Checkers and Oswald. God damn if that doesn't take me back. We'd made them at home in ec class in junior high. Home ec class in junior high. The unit where everyone had to practice sewing and all the guys got really immature about it and made random things from our fabric rather than the recommended pillow or tote bag. And Genzo and I had made Checkers and Oswald, 2 partners in crime off on missions and perilous. Missions most perilous. We'd both gotten C's in the unit. I could barely keep the chuckle from my lips when I think back. I'd given Checkers to Genzo afterward, and he'd given me Oswald. Where had he gone? I frowned. Now I can't remember. At my folks' house still probably, or sold at a garage sale. I cringe. Now I feel guilty. A sudden crack jerks me out of my thoughts. When I turn to see Genzo slapping the keyboard down against the desk. Goddamn thing. I look at the screen. The speakers have gone quiet. The cursor seems to be frozen in place. Look Look at this. Can't even open a damn spreadsheet. For crying out loud, piece of junk. Another slap at the keyboard. He frowns. Whatever. He should have emailed it too. Wait, check this out. You're gonna love this. Technology's great. He yanks his phone out of his pocket and brings it just to his chin. Hey, Dougal, read my mail. A sprightly male British voice springs forth from the speaker. No problem. You have 2 new emails. First email. Wool Blue Pharmacy reminder. Your prescription number 92871. I'm trying to think. Give me a minute here. Ibuprofen. HCI. 150 milligram. Stop reading. Stop reading. Genzo jabs the power button on the phone until the voice stops. He laughs and bites down on his lip. Ibuprofen. I raise a hand. Isn't that an anti... Then he realized what I'm saying and let the word die on my lips. Genzo grins sheepily and turns his head away. He runs a hand through his hair beneath his cap. I mean, you know how it is. Sometimes nights get kind of long. I press my lips together, suddenly very happy that Genzo can't see the look on my face, nor the stone tumbling around in my gut. Anyway, the fuck are we just sitting here for? Come on, there's a half-finished philosophy out there, and that needs a little TLC from yours truly before its proud parents come pick it up this afternoon. Lend me a hand? Sure, no problem. I take a step back as Genzo maneuvers around the desk and back to the door at the shop. He pauses only momentarily to slap the top frame of the door on his way out. It's been a long time since I watched Genzo work. It's still as impressive now as it was back then. His hands barely need to touch the frame before his fingers find what they're looking for. And then it's a twist here, a tug there. All the parts he needs laid out in a circle around his little stool, ready to be changed out, popped into place, dents hammered out, spokes unbent, broken chains replaced. Every tool he needs is in its commentary, placed in its apron, ready to be slipped out at a moment's notice, held fast between his lips, and he frowns at something beneath his fingers. He has me hold the one-wheeled frame to keep it from falling, though I'm sure it's only to give me something to do and not feel completely useless. Then he sends me to the new boxes of parts to find what's called a derailleur, of which I'm only able to find after he tells me to look for the mechanical seahorse. Once the new chain is back on, it's time for the front wheel, so then it's my job to hold it again despite the bike stand sitting right next to us and seemingly primed for that exact purpose. Nothing like the human touch, Genzo assures me and gives my knee a motivating pat through the frame. At this point, both our faces and hands are streaked with grease. Genzo's from actually getting up close and personal with the feisty two-wheeler. Mine because I forget the grease is on my hands and give my face a big ol' swipe, assuage a tingling itch on my nose. The wheel goes on easily and the chain connected. A few pumps of air into the tires lands the final touch, and the bike is good to go, standing tall and proud. Genzo takes the rag from the frame, wiping any potential grease stains that may have been left behind. Take it for a test spin? He stands up, turning the rag to his hands. Can't really do the honors myself. I look down at the bike, then up at Genzo. I haven't stepped foot on a bike in years. I mean, sure, okay. I throw a hesitant leg over the frame and position myself on the saddle, feet rising up to their toes. The handlebars feel sticky beneath my sweaty palm. I'm not really, good at this though. I wobble forward, wheel spinning first, left, then right, then back and to the left. I feel it tipping, but can't do anything about it. With a helpless oh no, the two of us go down. Genzo just laughs and I let out a groan. Slow down there, Lance. I'll need to fix it again at this rate. Not sure if I'm the best partner to have in the shop. I pull myself back to my feet and lug the bike back with me. Nah, you're great. Wouldn't change a thing about you. There's something about the words that gives me pause. I feel trundles of heat lap at my cheeks. But it's a comforting feeling rather than an awkward one. The kind that loosens the muscles on my shoulders and untwists my bowels. Homie. Anyway, what do we do now? You said they're gonna pick it up later? Yeah, sometime this afternoon. He palms his phone. Hey Dougal, what time is it? It is 2:34 p.m. We probably got some time then. Help me lug this thing up front, then we can kick things back with some beers. I wheel the bike to the front shop area as Genzo cleans up the leftover parts and scraps. The newly restored frame gleams next to its siblings beneath the fluorescent light. Back here, Eggs. Genzo calls as I start back, and I see him scrounging around in a small fridge at the back of the shop. He pulls 2 beers out from the bottom shelf. Convenient, I muse at my approach. Isn't it though? Genzo laughs. It's great being your own boss sometimes. He reaches for the wall and feels for the nearby handle, tugging open the door to the back patio. The sun is high in the sky at this point, but our little area is shaded, looking out across the small wooded area behind the development. Genzo kicks his foot out to locate the lawn chair that's clearly seen its fair share of use before sinking down to it with a sigh. He gestures toward the other side of the door. There should be another one over there. I find it as promised, fold it up against the wall and carry it over to join him. Genzo pops open his beer, takes a sip, collapses his legs out in front of himself. I follow suit. There's a wonderful little breeze whistling through the trees and playing with my curls. For a second, I'm back in grade school with Genzo, and I've just come back from an expedition in the woods, feasting on our well-earned spoils of orange soda and ice pops. Genzo scrounges around in his pocket before pulling out a pack of cigarettes. He brings one to his lips, lights it with a flick of his lighter, then sits back and takes a long, slow drag before blowing the stream smoke in the air. So when are you and Gidge getting together, huh? He asks out of the blue. The question catches me off guard and I nearly choke on my beer. What? Genzo just shrugs and laughs, the cigarette bouncing between his lips. Always figured it was inevitability myself, just didn't know when. I don't. I run a hand through my hair, nail scratching my scalp. I never really thought about it. Never? Genzo raises an eyebrow. I don't know. Maybe? But I don't know. My knees bouncing it like a jackhammer. Genzo's quiet. Head pointed lazily skyward. He takes a sip of his beer and taps the ash off the end of a cigarette. Didn't know it was such a touchy subject, he finally says with a grin. It's not. I don't think about that type of stuff often. Genzo turns towards me. I can practically see him blinking in amused interest beneath his sunglasses. You're a bit of an odd duck, you know that, Iggs? Oh, and you're a portrait of normalcy, I crack. Dissillates a laugh. I suppose you've got a point there, he slaps his stomach. At least I got this big old belly of mine to keep me company into my ripe old age. It's the only thing I can put up with. It's the only thing that can put up with my quirks. I frown. My mind goes back to the night prior. To what Orlam said. To what Genzo had seemed pretty adamant about avoiding. I rubbed the mouth of my beer across my lips, absent-mindedly watching him for a few moments. You know, I finally say, letting the silence stretch for a few more moments. You can always tell me anything, right? If you want to, of course. Genzo's quiet. His head's pointed off towards the trees now. He's got his cigarette perched up on the end of his lips. Up, down, he wiggles it back and forth. He finally grabs it between his fingers and cocking it out at an angle so he blows the plum of smoke. I'll tell you. I'll tell you once you got yourself hitched and you've popped out about 2.5 kids and a white picket fence to corral 'em. How about that? Then we'll be able to have ourselves a good laugh about it. I don't say anything. Or, and hear me out, he continues, you get yourself good and famous, you know, turn out hit games. You get yourself a big old apartment in New York City with 5 or 6 lovely ladies at your beck and call. Whichever comes first. Those are some high demands. Hey, I expect a lot out of you, what can I say? Clearly. The silence returns, and we sit there, sipping on our beers, taking in the breeze, listening to the birds somewhere up in the trees. It's nice. Like equivalent to being at home by myself nice. Not sapping me of energy nice. Not demanding or expecting anything of me nice. Just feeling at ease. Genzo reaches over, feels for my shoulder, gives it a squeeze. Hey, thanks for coming over. You know? I return his squeeze with a squeeze of my own, wrapping my fingers around his knuckles. I hold it for perhaps a moment too long. Of course. I get back to my apartment a bit before dinner time. Despite the fatigue tugging at my mental muscles, somehow I feel, I don't know, lighter. My head a bit clearer. I can feel myself smiling as I think about the evening ahead and how much work I have left to do. I order myself beef and broccoli from the little Chinese place a few blocks over to assuage the hunger growing in my belly, then set myself to work. I need to focus, get at least a few solid hours in before bed. I can still catch up relatively easily so long as I don't slack. I need to find my groove. I make it around 11 before I find myself making errors I definitely shouldn't be making, which means it's time to call it quits for the day. So I retreat to the bed and get a good 30 minutes of reading in before my eyes start drooping and my head stops comprehending the words on the page. Time to sleep. I don't think about what Hunter and Buck said. I don't think about Hunter and Bucks again until I turn off my bedside lamp. But by that point, I'm so tired, it's more like a passing thought as I bury my head in my pillow. I'm sure it's fine. I'll call tomorrow. I dream that night. I'm in the woods and someone's calling me. I chase after the voice in the darkness, but every time I think I'm getting close, it comes from a different direction. Iggy. I run faster. The branches whipping at my face, and the roots underfoot threatening to send me tumbling into the dirt. Come find me, Iggy. I run, and I run, and I run. Run until I reach some sort of clearing. Where is this place? Okay, yeah, this is definitely different from last time. There's a giant gate at the far end, though I'm not even sure if gate is the right word. More like barrier built from warped, knotted trees. There's a lock on it. Giant keyhole curved from dark wood. And as I let my fingers trace the rounded curves, the voice returns. Open it. Open it. Open it how? I glance down and find I'm holding a doll. Its button eyes stare at me vacantly, its long hair falling between my fingers. I look back at the lock. Only it's no longer a lock. It's a heart. Beat, beat, beating. I try to take a step back, but something's grabbed my hand. Tiny set of fingers. I'm too scared to look. But I have to. I have to know. I start to turn my head, only for the voice to whisper right next to my ear. Please kill me, Iggy. I gasp and sit up, only now I'm back in my bed and the sun's reflecting on the window straight into my eyes. I groan, my heart still thudding away inside my chest. I wait a few minutes for my sense of reality to return before shaking my head and climbing out of bed. It's late, far later than I usually wake up. And as I'm taking my first sip of coffee, I remember Hunter. Worry bubbles up somewhere around my diaphragm. I should call. His number's still the last one of my recent calls, and it only takes a second before the phone is ringing, but it cuts to voicemail after the fifth ring. Damn. I gnaw at the inside of my cheek. The bubbles of worry are starting to turn into froth. But what am I supposed to do at this point? Besides, I'm still playing catch up with work I didn't get to yesterday. I don't have a ton of spare capacity to spend worrying. I'll try again later. For now, it's back to work. I try to focus, try to concentrate on my work. But even the thought of a looming deadline isn't enough to keep my thoughts from straying. First to Hunter, and the way his voice had quaked on the phone, then to Bucks and the way her voice had crackled with anger during their argument. Then for some reason to Genzo, the way his voice sounded when he says my name. Comforting. Like being wrapped in a warm blanket. All these different voices. I shake my head. This isn't time to be daydreaming. I need to get this fucking thing done. I get in a few good hours, but I'm not particularly confident it's my best work. I probably need to go back through everything tomorrow just in case. I try calling Hunter again later that afternoon, but there's still no answer, which only agitates the gurgle of unease, turning my bowels further. It's even affecting my appetite at this point. Nothing sounds good. Nothing healthy, at least. So I simply reach for half-eaten snacks in the pantry. Night falls, along with my motivation. I'm past the point of even trying to divert my attention. I sit at the window and watch Mrs. Donish make her third trip to the mailbox that day, then retreat to my bed, figure I'll play some music and try to relax, get an early night's sleep. Tomorrow should have some answers. But even if my normal beats only serve to make my nerves dance in different patterns, I cover my head with my pillow, lie with my feet at the head of the bed, move to the floor, move to the chair in the living room. I sat there for a while, in the dark, just staring off to the wall like an insomniac. Then at some point my gaze falls. My messenger bag is still slumped on the floor by the far counter from where I'd tossed it the other night. In a split second before my eyes focus on it, I swear I see it move. What the? I blink, glance nervously around the dark apartment, but it's empty. Of course it's empty. Fuck, I'm really starting to lose it. I need to get out. Get some fresh air. Clear my head. I push myself up and out of the chair with a little wobble and grab my keys. And step outside. The breeze feels refreshing on my cheeks. When I take a deep breath and it curls up in my lungs like a giant whiff of menthol. Maybe I'd just been cooped up too long. I stare down the stairwell. My steps disguised as by the hum of cicadas, past the neighboring apartment complexes, past the small houses with their single car garages. Soon I've left Brookside behind me and found myself instinctively head north towards my folks' old home. The outcrop of the woods was still there, still hasn't been built over, or even after all these years. My palm tingles. A pinprick-like scratching that jumps from one nerve ending to the next and makes my fingers twitch. I curl my arms around my chest in an effort to dull the growing spark. Why did I stop, glance around. Why did I walk all the way out here? I shiver. The breeze that had once felt cool and refreshing suddenly feels rigid against my bare arms. But instead of heading back, I push forward. Across the empty lot between the houses, toward the blackness of the woods beyond. Sorry to say hybrid. I stop at the threshold between light and dark, one hand on the trace of bark of the nearest tree. What am I doing? My whole arm is throbbing now, even though 1,000 tiny insects are biting and jabbing and gnawing at my skin. My whole arm is throbbing now. Oh, okay, I just read that. I step forward. A branch snaps not more than a few feet away. My heart leaps up in my throat, and I throw my arms up like a squawk. Who is there? Cripes in a handbag. About scared the bejeebus out of me. A pause. Wait, Eggs, that you? I lower my arms, then squint as the shadow moves away from the nearby tree. It's Genzo. Just Genzo. The rapid hammering in my heart begins to recede. Somehow, the orange tint of his hat in the darkness feels incredibly comforting all of a sudden. He reaches out with his cane to find me, then gives me a couple of crisp whaps. It gives me a couple of crisp whaps at the ass to usher me closer. Damn, Eggs. I've seen more of you in these last few days than I have in the last year. I'd think you were stalking me, except I know. I'd almost think you were stalking me, except I know you. I know, well, you. I'd almost like to think you were stalking me, except I know, well, you. Did bringing in my presence suddenly spark a deep, unyielding need for an appropriate time to drollery? You wish. What are you doing out here? Could ask you the same thing. As he blushes. I scratch the back of my neck. Shuffle my feet. I mean, I was just taking a walk. Same? Couldn't sleep? Nah. We grow quiet. A strange chill begins creeping up my spine. I wonder if Genzo had the same urge to get out of the house as I had. So, Now comes the question of the hour. Yeah? Were you, going there? Were you? I guess. I mean, wasn't really thinking about it. Uh-huh, sure. Me neither. Pause. You don't think Genzo is only here because he thinks you're going, and you're only here because you thought he was going but didn't really know for sure? I don't know. Guess we don't know if we don't check. Yeah. The owl hoots from somewhere in the darkness. Let's go then? Lead the way. I throw a final glance at the black void between us and the trees inside. The air instantly cools. It's a damp chill, the kind that sticks to your skin and weighs down your chest. I press forward through the scattered brush, using my hands to keep from falling face first into the tree. I can hear Genzo's cane whipping through the grass and snapping against bark behind me. I focus on that familiar sound. It keeps my nerves from jumping out of my skin. I have to say, if I'm going to be walking through the woods at night, I'm at least glad it's him I'm with. His mere presence dulls the sharp bite of anxiety gnawing at my insides. I reach forward, checking out the bark on the inside packed. I reach forward, searching out the bark in the next tree, only this time my fingers touch the ragged edges that sent spark back up my arm and in the back of my throat. Where did I get backpack? I have no clue. I stop. Genzo's cane whaps against my ankles. Then he stops too. We here? Yeah, I answer before I actually have a damn chance to duck. 'Cause I know. How could I not? It's the biggest tree in the forest. It's basically like a giant teddy bear choked with some binding ropes. Ropes. Roots. The biggest tree in the forest. It's based like a giant boulder choked on winding roots. I let my fingers trace across the surface and circle around, careful not to grip the guaranteed overgrowths. Halfway around, my hand hits air. I come to a halt. The familiar sound edges are there. The sound of music at the stop. The hollow echo of stagnant air. The far off scent of something sweet. It's open. I take a step back and hear Genzo's approach. Jesus. My whole body's crackling with energy now. Even the breeze comes from how they've shifted everything moving forward toward that hole in the side of the tree. When was the last time Genzo starts to whisper? When was the last time Genzo whispered? I don't remember. I throw a glance back at Genzo. I watch him I can just make him out through the darkness. He's got a hand curled up under his chat, nail scratching his scalp. I lick my lips, scratch my arm. Something feels wrong. Too wrong. And there's a strange sense of familiarity to it all. As though I'm being choked by one of the guys. As though I'm stood. Oh my god, I can read. I really can. As though I've stood in this exact spot, had the same conversation, and the same outcome has been less than desirable. My stomach gurgles. I glance over at Genzo. You getting the weirdest sense of deja vu, or is it just me? What do you mean? I mean, like we've done this before, the two of us? I think I remember we'd taken a romantic midnight stroll through the woods before, Iggy. I roll my eyes. Whatever. It's probably nothing. This whole situation's been weirding me out. I expect another smart retort from Genzo, but he doesn't say anything about normalcy is enough to weird me out. But there is nothing. And how do you blame yourself for... And when I glance over, he's just standing there, face grim and jaw tight. You okay? Huh? Oh, yeah. Just felt really hot all of a sudden. Must be going through menopause. I cock a brow, then turn toward the hole the same. What do you think then? Should we go in? My voice hitches. Somehow I feel like we don't have much choice. I move forward towards the hole, popping a squat beneath the swords, amongst the weeds. There's that scent again, soft, sweet, like a tempting aroma of candy store. It curls up inside my nostrils. I grab the cotton candy gang. I grab the rounded edges and peck its inside, leaning forward on my toes. Well, we're sure it's not just some possum hole? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Genzo from behind. I can't tell if he's joking. I turn my head back to look back, to whack my forehead on the top of the edge and lose my balance. I land with a hard bruise-inducing thud on my shins and let out a string of four-letter words. For a moment, I am teeter-tottering, swaying back and forth, atop the bottom edge. Just before the weight wins, I tilt further, and topple right straight into the hole. My cheeks swallow onto me. Oops. The darkness swallows me. I'm falling. Wind whips through my shirt, summoning water from my eyes. My stomach feels as though it's been sucked up straight into my bowels. On and on and on and on and on. Complete nothingness surrounding me, consuming me. And there's a strange sense of familiarity in the darkness too, as though it's welcoming me back. I reach out. I almost accepting something to grab my hand, but there's no need. Nothing and no one. And at what cost? I feel incredibly alone. Iggy. I look around. Where's that coming from? It feels as though it's coming from everywhere and nowhere at all. What do you want, Iggy? What do I want? What kind of question is that? What do you wish for more than anything else in the whole world? That... I don't... know? Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta get some snack on for a minute. I'm shaking and I don't know why. Okay, now I'm back. I think about my life. Think about my apartment in Brookside. Think about my friends, Bucks and Hunter, Gidget and Orlam, Genzo. Clutch my eyes shut tighter. My heart feels confused. Like it wants something. But it doesn't even know what. And somehow that thought is so terrifying that it would rather just not want it at all. I don't know. I don't know what I want. My fingers are starting to tingle. First tiny nibbles of numbness, then building into instant zaps of electricity. Up, up, up my arms they go, growing and growing, into my chest, in my stomach, shooting down my legs. And loud, so loud, I can't hear, can't think. Just when I think I can't take it anymore, my mind goes blank. Iggy. I hear my name. That voice again. The one that wraps around me like a warm blanket. Iggy. Is it morning? I don't remember going to sleep. In fact, I don't remember much at all. But I don't mind. As long as that voice keeps saying my name. My lips curl into a smile as I turn over and drift back off into nothingness. Just 5 more minutes. For fuck's sake, eggs, you're gonna give yourself buried in there. My eyes snap open. This isn't my bed. In fact, this isn't even my room. And those certainly aren't my stuffed animals. My hundreds of thousands of stuffed animals. The pile of them has overtaken the entire corner of the room. Almost like someone spilled a gigantic box of them in through the hole of the roof. A very, very high hole in the roof. I stare up at the same hole now, blinking in silence, until an orange-capped head overtakes my view. Good morning, Starshine. The earth says hello. Genzo. The hole. We fell through the hole. Very good, Iggy. We did fall through the hole. Genzo yanks me up by my wrist, extracting me from the pile of animals. It takes every ounce of concentration I have not to fall straight back to the floor. And now we're at the bottom of the hole. Because that's what happens when you fall down a hole. I pat my head, my cheeks, my waist, the sides of my legs. But did we really? My gaze wanders to the rest of the room. It's somehow just like I remembered. The warm green of the hardwood floor. The rounded windows. The crackling fire with nearby stove and kettle already on the boiler. Small table in the middle of the room, half-eaten cookies, cakes, and sweets still litter its checkered cloth. This is a grade A fucked up shit is what it is. But hey, what else is new? Am I right or am I right? The sound snaps me out of my wonderment, and I turn back to Genzo, who's currently testing out the stability of one of the chairs. I only realize at that moment he's not wearing his sunglasses. Genzo, where? Except I don't finish. Because Genzo's turned to look at me. Like at me. His dark brown eyes dilating just slightly as his focus shifts. I step back so quickly I knock my head against the cupboard behind me. Fuck, Genzo, you... I rub the back of my head with a wince. Yeah. You mean you could actually... You can... What did you want me to do? I wasn't gonna lie. I nod my top lip. I can't stop staring. The weirdest feelings curling around my heart. A mixture of guilt and something else. Worry. Embarrassment. Genzo scowls and jerks his head away. One am a new exhibit of the lever. Cut it out already. He jerks his cap in obvious discomfort. Besides, it's not like this is permanent. Yeah, but still. I mean, you're not even at all... Oh yeah, I had my obligatory teary-eyed moment. Cradled you in my arms as I wept like a fucking baby. Somebody even started playing I Can See Clearly Now. Loudly. On a recorder. Straight into my ear. But fuck that, I'm not gonna let myself get separated from reality. And I'm sure as hell not staying down here any longer than we need to. This is wrong, all of it. We're not supposed to be here. Pull my gaze away. Attention returning to our quaint surroundings and the nostalgic smell of spice curling up inside of my nasal cavity. I bring my hand up to my hair, trying to calm the errant curls. I'm suddenly feeling very self-conscious about how I look. I can't argue with that. Somehow I don't know. It's like looking behind the curtains at something I'm not supposed to see. I will say though, Eggs, you turned out exactly how I always pictured you in my mind. Genzo puts his hands on his hips. This shoots my head up. Oh? How's that? Like a loser? You fucker. I jump at him before I can stop myself, hands gripping the side of his jacket. He laughs. Just as quickly as I'd come rushing over, he throws me down, pins me to the floor. My head rings from the impact. Damn, I haven't been able to do that in a while. Genzo grins from ear to ear. I push fruitlessly against his shoulders. Because it was something I sorely missed. I say at the roll of my eyes. He stays there a moment, just looking down at me. Please take me out to dinner first. Now I'm about to let myself lose this battle of snark. I spit out the best retort I can come up with on spot. You know, you could take me out to dinner first before throwing yourself at me. Genzo blinks. I see his pupils suddenly dilate. He then jerks his hand away as though he's been touched by a hot poker. He sits back with a cough. Jokes are just as bad as always, I see, he says with a laugh. Hey, you wouldn't have me any other way, am I right or am I right? I follow up, doing my best impersonation of him as I can. I give his shoulder a playful punch. Yeah. Genzo rubs the back of his neck, his eyes somewhat strained. He looks away, turning his attention back to the room. Then laughs. Damn, all the memories, though. He pushes himself to his feet. Remember the first time? We had no idea how to get back. We all just piled into the bed because we were so fucking exhausted. I throw a glance at the bed and a question before following suit. Looks so small now. Back then it fit all 5 of us. Well, mostly. Pretty sure I kicked Orlum off. True though. The more I look around, the more comes back. Staring out at nothing more than flickering images. Then like snowballs, rolling themselves into full-fledged memories. The 5 of us huddled together beneath the blankets, tired and scared and unsure how we were going to get home. Only to wake up the next morning back in our own beds as though nothing had happened. And then, later that day, we'd all been too scared to say anything, just sitting there, picking at our food, silent as the grave at lunch. Till Genzo had popped up with the question he'd been waiting for. We'd all been waiting for. And it'd been like the floodgates had gone off. All of us laughing, recounting our adventure. Excitedly planning when to go back again. The thought of it brings a smile to my face. And I let my thumb trace over the round curve of the bottom bedpost. Think the rest of the fuckers are here then? Genzo says so softly, I'm not sure he's even talking to me at first. I turn away from the bed to find him investigating the kettle. He pokes at it with his finger, then immediately pulls away with a wince, bringing the tip of his finger to his mouth. I don't know, but somehow it feels like... But before I can finish my aimless thought, the sound of footsteps cuts me off. Heavy, march-like. Again and again, steady and methodical. I throw a glance at Genzo. Then both of us dash toward the window. We squeeze our heads inside the rounded frame, eyes peeking out at the source of the sound. But even as I'm crouched here, waiting, a trickle of dread begins pulling in my bowels. Almost like I'm watching a scary movie, but I know there's a scare coming. I lick my lips, tighten my fingers around the sill, and then they come. 2 by 2, they round the corner. Crisp and methodical. Spears swinging in sync. I hear Genzo's breath hitch next to me. Neither of us says a word. Somehow it's like we were both expecting this. The rabbit at the head comes to an abrupt stop. His ears are standing straight up like lightning rods baiting a storm, and his nose twitches once, twice, 3 times. He spins around at the rabbits behind him, jumping gawkish salutes. The dread in my gut is building. I can feel myself starting to sweat. Where is he? Where is he? The high-pitched squawk rattles with willpower, and I bring my hands to my ears so on instinct. No. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. The other rabbits seem confused. They remain quiet, simply wrenching their heads back and forth in search of some unknown entity. Century 218, you overgrown rodents. This prompted an about-face from the soldiers of the battalion, who quickly spin on their heels to face a single rabbit in the back, the only one without a partner. The rabbit in question flinches and steps back. Thud, thud, thud. Each impact of the lead rabbit's boots on the hard earth makes the walls of our small cottage shake as he storms to the back of the rank. His next words are screeched loud and an inch of the... What? His next words are screeched less than an inch away from the lone soldier's frightening nose. I thought I told you to keep that buck in line, sentry. A pause. He grabs the other rabbit's ear, half yanking it out of his skull in order to read what looks like some sort of metal tag affixed it to the mangled cartilage. 104. He lets go of the ear, and 104's head jolts backwards. So tell me then, where is 218? And it's at that point that I pull away from the window. I slam my back on the wall. I don't want to watch. I know what's going to happen. I don't know how. I know I somehow just know. You okay, Eggs? I'm fine. Just. Except I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain it. That overwhelming sense of dread that's currently paralyzing my body. Genzo watches me for a second, not saying anything. Then returns his gaze to the window. I see him wince. Twitch. Then his eyes start to bug out of his head. I quickly twist away. Hands tighten around my ears. I stare at the far wall. There are a pattern on the bed sheets. I try to summon that mental image again. All of us in the bed, cozy and warm. Someone's tucking us in, reading us a story, kissing our heads. In my head, I glance up and see a pair of long, droopy ears. Fuck. This drills me back to reality and the rabbits outside. I glance up to see Genzo's face go completely white. Jesus. I wait another second. Then... Are they gone? Yeah. They're leaving. I let out the breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding and slumped away from the wall. Good call and looking away, Iggs. I'm definitely gonna have to see a therapist about what I just saw in 4 or 5 years. What happened down there? I finally managed. Something that wasn't supposed to, that's for sure. He throws another glance at the window. We're really going out there then? I sigh, run a hand through my hair. I mean, do we really have a choice at this point? All of this feels like I bring my hand up wistfully. Like everything is made up and the points don't matter? I shoot Genzo a dirty look. Hey, my life's basically an improved tragic comedy already. How much worse can it get? I don't respond. But something churning in my gut tells me it's about to get worse. A lot worse. God damn. 2 of us look down at the dead body, Sentry 104. I got one hand over my mouth to try to keep my best from not gagging. That was one hell of a nasty wallop. Genzo grimaces. A pause. A real dunker. Another pause. I mean, that really must have hurt. Another pause. Just look at the way his brain squirted up between the cracks of his skull. Genzo, your commentary's not appreciated. Let's be honest, when is it ever? I ignore him and glance instead at our surroundings. My stomach is turning flip-flops. There's no sign of the battalion now. There's definitely something. They've disappeared somewhere among the trees further down the left hall. Down the left path. Not that the right path feels any more promising. Though it feels as though my gaze is winding toward a pair of crooked trees before disappearing behind an appraised amount of meadow grass. Genzo thought his cap was the reason he tousled hair. What do you mean? Which way then? I would suggest we don't follow the homicidal rabbits. But that's just me. Yeah. Both paths are still empty, and for the life of me, I can't form a clear mental image of what's down either of them. My memories are too scattered and vague. Give me 1 second. Which way did they go? Right? We'll go right then. Excellent choice, mon capitaine. Okay, they must have went left. It's quiet as we walk. All tall clusters of fiery red corridor as the river of dirt directs us left, then right, in the waters in the canyon. Above us, the sky glitters a sunny orange. And on the other side, strange flowers of blues, purples, and teals dot the grass between the trees. Alright, I forgot to ask. Genzo has his hands in his pockets. What did you wish for? I blink. Frown. My thoughts go back to the voice. Feeling of emptiness I felt. But the feeling of emptiness as I fell through the hole. And the confusion. The uncertainty. And maybe even the tiniest twinge of fear. Fear? What am I afraid of? I shake my head to clear my thoughts. Nothing. I finally say. Nothing. I look away for a shrug. Guess I couldn't think of anything. Damn, guess you got it made, huh? Or Genzo laughs. I don't respond. I chew on the inside of my cheek and glance over at Genzo. Still haven't gotten used to seeing him without his sunglasses. Walking like that, looking at me. Part of me's nervous about it. Nervous about what it could do to him having to go back to reality after this. Nervous that he might actually want to stay here. Somehow, I don't know. I can't possibly feel that what he's feeling right now, so I have no idea what's going on in his head. But another part of me feels guilty. Then another part of me, happy. Being able to look him in the eye. Knowing that he can see me. Why would that make me happy? I don't know. That he sees what I look like now and doesn't go running for the hills? Doesn't start treating me differently? Still smiles at me? Somehow that smile, it's like that little squeeze he gave my shoulder only the day before. Warm and reassuring. Non-judgmental. We round another corner, and this time the path opens up to a small clearing. The outcropping of rocks overlooks a small pond at the other end. From its peak flows a miniature waterfall, light reflecting off the steady drizzle. I step toward the pond, only to gasp and step back. Wait a minute. This exact pond. I know this pond. Fuck, it's happening again. What is it, Eggs? It's just... That's when I see it. The rabbit soldier coming from the corner. Fuck. I take a step back. Then another. And quickly twist on my heels and slam straight into Genzo. For one fleeting moment, he somehow keeps his balance. Then his feet twist beneath him. He goes down. The sound of him hitting the ground sends the rabbit's ears skyward. His head jerks in our direction. Who's there? His spear already at the ready. Shit. Genzo scrambles back to his feet. I'm sorry. I sputter with a flustered wave in my hands. You're apologizing now? With the murder rabbit breathing down my neck? He had a point. I turn to see the rabbit staring at us. I swear I see the tip of his spear glint. Genzo grabs my arm and pulls me behind him. Rabbit cocks his head first, left, then right. His right eye twitches, then widens. You're that fellow the king told us to watch out for. He chuckles, laughs, licks his lips. I'll get a promotion for sure if I bring you in. Fresh meat for weeks. No more of that slop. He adjusts his grip on his spear. Then charges. Iggy, run. I hear Genzo yell a second before his hand finds my shoulder and pushes me away. But even as I stumble forward, I don't miss the rabbit taking a beeline toward Genzo. He's headed straight for him, spear out front and glinting, and the piebald light glittering in through the trees. Fuck. There's no way I'm leaving him here. I dig my heels into the ground, stop my backward motion, then direct myself forward. I only have a second. 1 second. I go careening toward him with everything I have, hands outstretched. And I only just make out him turning toward me in surprise when my palm hit his shoulder. There's an audible Then he goes rocking backward, half stumbling to the ground. I allowed half-second victory. With a gut-jolting rip, the rabbit spear goes to the side of me and out the other. Oh. The head of the spear sticks out somewhere in my left kidney, dripping bits of goo and tissue onto the ground. Genzo? Genzo's just standing there, staring at me. His face has gone white. Iggy? He brings a shaking hand up, eyes trembling in their sockets. Off to my side, the rabbit snorts. You're not the one I wanted. Then he swings the spear hard. The momentum sends me flying off to the end, whirling and spinning until I land with a crack against the side of the tree, my glasses bouncing off my nose. I sink to the ground. There's a puddle forming around me. A thick, gooey one. Blood leaking out from both sides of me like a double-ended faucet. I hear a shout. Genzo's mad. Madder than I've ever heard him before. But I can't turn to look. I can't move anything. All I could do is lie here, shivering in my own soup. I'm sorry, Genzo. I'll do better. Next time. Well, that was a bust. Unfortunately, you were kebabbed. Yeah, no shit. But you'll do better next time. Would you like to restart from where your last recent choice or return to main menu? Last choice. Good choice. Oh, this is so wrong. You mean I gotta leave him behind? I guess it would help if I read these. I thought I was gonna have a choice to do it, but to pick it, but I guess not. Iggy, run! I hear Genzo yell a second before his hand finds my shoulder and pushes me away. Just as I stumble backwards, I don't miss the rabbit making a beeline toward Genzo. He's headed straight for him, spear out front and glinting in the piebald light glittering in through the trees. Fuck. My gut instinct is to push him out of the way. But an alarm bell's going off in the back of my head, telling me what to do what he said. Run instead. I bring my hands to my head, fingers shaking. No. I gotta run. Run. Not giving myself another moment to second guess myself, I twist on my heels. I make it about 5 flying leaps away before I glance back in time to see Genzo nearly avoiding being skewed by the rabbit's spear. Rabbit goes careening past him, plunging the head of his spear into a tree instead. Thank God. Just as I turn back to look where I'm going, I gracefully trip over a stone in the middle of the path and hit the dirt. Of all the... But I don't have time to finish my self-deprecating thought, because the next moment Genzo has me by the collar and is yanking me back to my feet with the hairy tuff. You choose now to be clumsy? You choose now to be a clumsy-ass motherfucker? I stumble after him, weaving a few wide curves before falling in step behind him. I didn't choose the clumsy life chose me, I say between my choke breaths. I see Genzo shake his head in amused disbelief. We go flying down the path, away from the dense outcropping of trees, and out along this slowly gurgling river. I'm just about to turn back to check for any sign of the rabbit friend when Genzo goes skidding to a halt next to me. I follow suit, eyes growing 10 times the size of my head. In front of us is no longer well ground. It's soft, lumpy, and pink. A giant slab of lopping flesh splayed across the path, and wide. 20, 30 feet across? And it's a tongue. And it's connected to the largest eyeball I've ever seen in my entire life. It's round and wet. Sitting on the side of the cliff face is as though perched atop a throne. At our approach, its oversized pupil swivels in an almost audible rumble to stare straight at us. What the actual fuck? I've been just about to say I don't remember that thing being here before, but my head's just jumbled at the moment. I don't know what to say before I can remember that I don't want. Have a memory I don't want. So instead, I just gulp and look at the thing. A begrudging sense of nausea turning my bowels into stone soup. I take back every moment in my pre-pubescent years before I wish I could have had some tongue. I quickly scan our surroundings, looking first at the steel rocks on our left, then the river at our sight. Just as I'm studying the erraticates of the water patterns, I feel a tug on the hem of my shirt. My head snaps down, eyes forcing themselves to, and just in time to take in the sight of a small creature staring at me. This thing creeps me the hell out. I jerk backward with a cry of surprise. What the hell is that thing? Genzo comes up behind me as though I've recovered enough to ponder the same question myself. It's small, only coming to my knees, and its head is large, puffy, and oblong. A red, bright red, almost like a tomato. You want something, little guy? I ask as I pop a squat. It warbles something incomprehensible, then waggles its tentacle-like arms off to the right. I turn my gaze to the direction it's pointing to see a neat wooden bridge stretched across the of the river. A bridge? My brows furrow. Wait a minute. Bridge, bridge, bridge. Why is the word bridge sticking out to me like a sore thumb? In the deep recesses of my mind. You're trying to help us, then aren't you, little dude? But it's Genzo's turn to kneel. Though he has a bit less height to lose. The creature joggles its arms again with a happy warble. Seems like it wants to help us. Though I can't shake the oddity of the bridge. There's no way I wouldn't have noticed that if I was surveying our surroundings earlier. I take turns at the hulking tongue again. There's a stagnant pool of saliva saturating the dirt in front of it. And that giant gooey eye is still watching us. I stretch my hands out in the curls. I clench my hands in my curls and groan. There you are. I spun around, only to see the rabbit of one of the paths, spear pointed right at us. My heart thumping loudly at the sound of a stomach. Fuck. Genzo takes a step backward. Even our tiny acquaintance brings his arms up to his mouth in fear. What are you doing, Eggs? I can always see the rabbits rearing up for a charge. I have to make a choice now. The bridge or the tongue? Tongue. There's something wrong about that bridge. Too strong. Too wrong. Or if we go to the other ice cream stand, it's more efficient community. And in that moment of indecision, I chose to go with my gut, as much as it pains me to do so. Damn it. I groan. To the tongue, to the tongue. What? Genzo squeaks, his tongue rests. His voice rising above 2 octaves. And there's a pink rose to be able to get for Valentine's Day. There's no time to explain. I grab his sleeve, even though he's throwing the creature a pained look. And drag him toward the heaving pink slab. We damper on top of it just as the sound of racing footsteps fills the air beneath us. Immediately, I roll off the escape to the edge and the rabbit's potential grip flopping down atop my porous mass. Of course, Genzo is safe next to me. Once Genzo is safe next to me, I throw a glance back at the rabbit, glaring at us angrily from solid ground. He's not following us, I muse. Genzo jabs angrily at his chest. I wouldn't follow us. He has a point. There's all the more reason for us to get going across this thing as quickly as possible. Okay, I think we're gonna stop here for now. I will come back on later. Right now we're gonna go raid someone. You. Because I kind of want to, do up a summary on Discord, and also, post on YouTube with these. So I'll do that, and then I will pick up where I left off later. Might help if I actually save this damn thing. Here. Channel. Let's see here. Okay, let's go see staff, and I will see you later tonight. Everyone have a good rest of your day, and later.